Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a good rack. I could have a 7-letter bingo here, but it's not come to mind. And there could be some 8s. Great, I have a few floaters to consider. Butted takes an A in front, which I have, so certainly if there is a 7-letter bingo, it will play. But I'm not seeing such a play, so what about the B? BCP don't go well together. How about the U? No. Pre-enact. I do have a bingo through the T. That is going to stick a P in the middle of row A. Does pre-enact have an anagram? It may do. How about an E? And that could be a triple word score. No. And what about the D? No. So, this is the best I've seen. Pre-enact for 66. Not bad. All different tiles. Slightly heavy with scoring tiles. But it's a balanced rack and I've got some good vowels. I don't think there's going to be a bingo here, but there are quite a few floaters to consider. But I'm struggling to see any prefixes or suffixes. I think the closest I can see is Yarmulke, but that doesn't feature an I. If there is a bingo, the Y is likely to be at the beginning or the end, but not definitely. Wow, great bingo by opponent. Would have been difficult to avoid that since all he needed was a floating E, but I don't wish to detract from a really good spot. So, all of this chatter, and I have not identified a candidate play. And really, there are 3 or 4 spots I'm drawn to. There are the triple letter squares next to the A, where all of my scoring tiles can go. There's column 12 around this E, and there's also row A through the P. Now I'm wondering about a 5-letter play, beginning above the A of red water. So, do I have anything with the K on that spot? Because the K is the only tile which doesn't go above the E. Well, I haven't seen one, but I feel it's jolly close, so there could be one. All of my vowels work with T and R, apart from IR. I'm wondering about Mayer, M-A-Y-E-R. I think Mayest is good. This doesn't feel quite right, but it's 51 points. It's not good. Am I thinking of something else? Well, probably just Mayest. So, how about the P? So I have Kempe. That's 63 points, and I'm taking out a decent spot for opponent, and I'm using all of my scoring tiles. I'm going with this. Wow. That is quite a sight. And I would have quartzite onto TE. Definitely checking to see if that's available anywhere, and it's not. But I do have quartz. Do I have anything spectacular? So I have quartz through this A, which gets rid of the Q, U, and Z, and gets the Z triple. That's going to be 40 or 50 points. What about quartzia? Again, that's a 9-letter play. Well, there are no 2-letter sets available. Is there a 5-letter play beginning with the Z, ignoring the Q? That would be a 100-point play. Not seeing it. What about a play in column 12, beginning QU? I would need a second E for Queasia. Not seeing anything there. I note that Quartz also plays through the A of Redwater. Well, now, what about just playing ZA? It's 60 points, and this is a pretty good rack leave. Q and U go well together, and there are floating vowels on the board. And look at this, my Q can go in front of AT, so I think this has a lot of merit. I am going with it. And I draw the J. So what I could do is something similar, just playing off J-O somewhere and leaving Quirt. But that's not going to be as good as playing Quirt in the top right. So I'm not going to be able to get the J to play twice because nothing goes in front of C. But I could just play JA, 25 points. Wow, fantastic. My spot at the top remains available. So I have quote for 57 points. Okay, well, my run has come to an end. This is pretty hopeless. Now, I wonder if I played quote slightly too quickly. Maybe I had something, a double-double rather, not something in row E. I didn't look for that. I have the ing ending with this rack. But I'm not seeing anywhere great for that. Wow, great. Bingo by opponent, 65 points, so my lead just 35. And I don't have a big J playing column 15. Now, what I have stopped considering, and it doesn't apply for this turn, is the A front hook for a butted, so maybe there was something good in column 3 earlier with the Q or the Z. We shall find out later. So what am I going to do here? I've only got one vowel. Tricky. Do I leave this T alone? Well, I think my priority is sorting the rack out. And that is going to be tricky to do. I can't see anything. Well, I can see Jan. Kring is not bad, it goes well with any vowel. Now, Aeon takes a P in front, I mustn't forget that. So the real downside for Jan, apart from only scoring 22 points with the J, is if I draw two consonants, which clearly is going to happen quite often. However, look at the floating vowels on the board. There's the A of Eon, the U of butted, E and I of eggiest. So I think that's fine. Now, I think I've seen something better. What about Jin here? 35 points, that's much better. And I'm very unlikely to draw 4 consonants. And I'm sorting out the duplicate N. Although this rack leaf feels better, C and G don't go well together. But this is much better than anything I'm considering, and actually setting up a column 1 play with the J balances out the column 15 opening with the T. I'm going with this. Wow, just the solitary vowel, but not too surprising. But what's worse is that these tiles really don't go well together. I guess I can play Budge, but that's going to be for a very limited score. Red Bug as well, but that doesn't work. Now, just looking in column 6, because column 5 rather, because YA takes an R in front, so I could have a play beginning CR or BR or GR, but it would then need to be followed by EU. So the best I can, well, I simply don't have such a play. I was thinking of GRU, but it's EU, not UE. Great, just 30 points for opponents. My budge spot remains available, and I do like the rack leave after this, CRS, pretty good. Now, the floating vowels I was speaking about earlier have pretty much vanished. I'm minded to put the R on the end of this to stop opponent hooking budge. Although the R does help C and S, still 2 to come, but still 2 blanks to come, so that definitely tips the balance in favour of playing the R. Also, budger only takes an S and an O, whereas budge took DRS, still 5 O's to come. Only 20 points, but I am getting rid of B, D, and G. Let me momentarily put this back. Just wondering, is there a double-double in row E? Well, there is. There's bangers. Let me see what this scores. 40 points. Wow, 40 points. What was I getting for budger? 20. This has got to be worth doing. Still 2 S's and 2 blanks to come. Yeah, this is a better play. Can I make it even better? No, I don't think I can. I'm going with this. Not a good pickup, but I was drawing a lot of tiles. Alas, I dodged both blanks. But 2 vowels rather than 1. Slight improvement. What's not good is the V and the W, but I can get rid of both of those by playing vor in column 3. This J has proved completely hopeless for me. I haven't come close to a 6 or 7 letter J play. Still 3 A's to come. Great, opponent doesn't play there even though he had an A. Fantastic. So I have vor for 27, which is a nice score. Can I do any better? Well, I could turn over 1 more tile by playing claw, but there's still 1 V to come, so I'd rather be jettisoning both the V and the W. I am going with this. And look at this, absolutely magnificent. I draw the blank and the rest of the rack is balanced. Am I bingoing? Well, maybe, maybe not. I'm not seeing a bingo with the J. Clarids, I think, is the only S bingo. That doesn't play. Where are the floaters? Where are the 7-letter lanes? Well, 7-letter lanes first, column 2, hooking W, so beginning with a vowel, A, E, or O. Not seeing anything with A. Just wondering how to... Well, opponent plays there, but look at this. Oh, wow, he has set up Clarids. Absolutely magnificent play by opponent. So, Clarids for 95. Bang! And out come the vowels to play. So I have a lead of 150 points and just 16 tiles in the bag. The game is not over, but opponent needs to bingo pretty sharpish. And a lot of the board has been shut down. Maybe I played Clarids too quickly, in the sense that if I'd played it higher up, I could have provided fewer floaters. But I think that's fairly marginal. Yeah. So, I can play Uoi. I think I do need to play in row O. It's clearly the best bingo lane. Decent rack leave. Only 14 points. But that's okay. I'm going with this. Well, not so great, but not terrible either. At least I draw the final S, so opponent doesn't have it. Remaining pool, vowel heavy, non-bingo-y. No R, S, or T available. Only 5 consonants, in fact, and they include F, H, and M. And I think opponent needs 2 bingos to have any chance, and that's not going to happen. Theoretically, it could happen. There are 7 tiles in the bag, but I think it's extremely unlikely that opponent could do that without my being able to block him. So, what am I going to do with this rack? I have verls and vils and vrils, and nowhere for any of them. Hoy takes nothing in front. I'm really looking for V spots. Well, I could play vril in column 4, 16 points. Do I have anything better? I would like to play one or both L's. Now, oh ho, I think takes an S, or does it? It might not. I think it does. 4 tiles in the bag. Yeah. Well, look at this. Opponent's played oh-ho. He's going to probably have F or M. He's probably got a big score in row O. But I'm still thinking about playing vril. It leaves 1 in the bag. Opponent could have a bingo with this rack. If I played vrils, I'm providing floaters. Moi is good. Well, this game is won. I am 130 points in front. And I am going with this. So no bingo here that I can see. I've got the less ending with mid. And I don't think opponent has a bingo, although he may. I don't have anything with the V. Opponent has blocked the G. So I have milds if opponent doesn't play in row O. And he may not be able to have a 5-letter play beginning with F. I guess he could play Fugio, burning the blank. And he might as well burn the blank if he doesn't have a bingo. Now, do I really not have a bingo? Let me consider these 2-letter sets. So what about TI? So I've got the less ending. I've got the ism ending. No, nothing's coming to mind. How about SO? So I would have the ISO prefix. This rack as a whole doesn't feel awash with bingo options, even with the best floaters on the board. But can I get through the 500 mark? Now, what about a play in row D? Well, I have nothing to go under the J, otherwise there could be a decent 4-letter play. Great, opponent has not bingoed, and he may not be going out with IOO, so I could have 2 turns. He's provided no new bingo floaters. Do I have a 5-letter play with the M above OI? So that would have to begin M, S or E. Then there would have to be a D. And that's where it stops. That's 29 points, so that might be worth doing by itself. I could stick LI in front of that. Could I then play double S? Well, I can through AI and also SOS. £29 points, and I think Liss is good. LISS? Possibly not. Just thinking about meds. Well, how long do I have? I have 7 minutes on my clock. Am I sure I don't have a bingo here? Yes, I am. I'm going back to my plan. Med for 29. Liss not good. Ah, I was thinking about playing limed. Okay. Well, I've just made life harder for myself. Gosh, that was slack. I did want to play limed in order to have an out in 2 spots. Now I'm going to struggle to find an out anywhere. Gosh, that was annoying. Gliss not good without an E on the end. Lissa not good. Can't see anything with a U. What about this U? No. What about the E? No. How about SO? Okay, well, I'm not seeing an out. And I have 5 minutes to find one. Or to find a decent score. Well, I can play Liss for 13. Cis for 22. Do I have 2 outs for L? I have Sol, I have La, so I do. Okay, I think I am going to go with this. And it's possible going out in 2 is better than going out in 1. 22 points, quite a decent score. If I'd played limed, I would have got 3 points, and if I'd then played sauce, I would have got 7, so 22 looks pretty good. Opponent goes out. And the final score, 383 for my opponent, 528 for me, a winning margin of 145 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a great game. Absolutely rip-roaring fun. And over 500 points. It was my opponent to go fast. He played butted. And there was an anagram of pre-enact. It was Persient, and it would have made a little difference in respect of opening up row A. And that was it in terms of bingos. Great bingo spot, my opponent. Red water. And no other option, so super find. And I played Kempi for 63, and quite a few other high-scoring options available. Opponent, quite a few vowels, plays Aeon. Now, B10, Zit, and I play Tsar, and I prefer Tsar. It's only 3 fewer points, and I am opening up a hook for my cue. Opponent's rack plays I, and I have quoit and quat. And ordinarily I would prefer 2 consonants, but high-scoring tiles like vowels, and J in particular likes O and A, so possibly quert better. Great bingo by opponent. And now, canning. Wow. Okay. I think that would have been the play. Instead, I played gin, which is still pretty good, but not quite as good as the top two. Opponent plays hoy, and now I do get a double-double with bangers. That looks fine. Opponent plays far, and now I play vor for 27. Cavil available in the same spot, but putting an I next to this triple letter square, providing floaters. Count against it. But the presence of two blanks out there count in favour of it. But since I lead by about a bingo, I think I prefer the tighter play. Opponent doesn't have a blank, plays axe. And now I do, and I play Clarids for 95. I could have got one more point. One I. Okay, playing Decryal. So, what was available higher up? E1, Radicel. Yeah, I think that's the sort of play I was looking for after my play in terms of providing fewer floaters. But certainly Clarids is fine. Opponent plays Splint. And now I play Uoy for 14, and I still like that, but D1 Oars for 42. Interesting. I am giving up 28 points just to obstruct or take out a bingo lane at the expense of creating a new one. But this rack leave is atrocious, IIU. IRS is pretty good. I think I will be bingoing some of the time after that. Fortunately, this is a completely academic exercise in that I'm sufficiently far ahead that either play wins. Opponent's rack plays Oh-Ho, and what do? Will I play Vril for 16? Yeah, I think that's fine, leaving one in the bag. Opponent plays Fauna. Phew, no missed bingo here. And I play Med, I think. Yeah, I could have just played Meds and given myself an out of LISEHS, so yeah, I think that was a weak play. Opponent doesn't have an out, plays Joe. And I don't have an out, so I play Sis for 22, and that was the most available. And opponent goes out with Oi for 10. So, what a game. Absolutely rip-roaring fun. Opponent nearly gets 400 points, but I win by over 100. So, absolutely great fun. Many thanks to my opponent for a good game. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time. Now, just to keep everyone informed about the expurgation saga, I think the last major event was the WESPA vote, in which WESPA members voted not to end the relationship with Mattel, and the consequence of that was that WESPA accepted Mattel's list of expurgated words, or an expurgated word list, which caused a lot of unhappiness among Scrabble players because they overwhelmingly wanted to play with an unexpurgated, uncensored list. And what I like to do in these videos is just generally keep people up to date with any development. So what I have to show you now is simply a recent newspaper article in which the journalist spoke to Chris Leip, the chairperson of WESPA, to Mattel, and also to me and to at least one other Scrabble player. So I'll show that article. And what I did prior to the article, and quite a while back, was to send a list of questions to the treasurer of the ABSP, with asking specific questions about the British vote in the WESPA Extraordinary General Meeting, in which the British vote was against the motion to break away from Mattel. So effectively, the British vote was to go along with the expurgated word list. And I know they didn't want to, but there were other considerations about the consequences of breaking from Mattel, which influenced that decision. Anyway, I did send some questions about the British vote, and I very recently, I think yesterday, received the answers after quite a long wait. So what I'll do is I'll leave you with those 3 documents.